I'll eventually.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our live earnings coverage of three of our mega, three, right? Is it three? Yes, three of our mega companies from the Max 7. So it should be an exciting day. Good afternoon, Mike. How you doing today?
Hey, good afternoon. I'm doing much better after I got that echo out of my voice or out of my head. So
Yeah, that could be
I
annoying.
figured out. I figured it out. Technology master here going in. We'll
Yeah,
get this
yeah.
taken care of.
Let me get Jared's screen here. So we also have Jared and Brian. Good afternoon, guys. Hopefully you're doing well.
Good afternoon. Yeah,
Brian,
hello,
how
hello.
did you sneak in here? I didn't even see you.
Look at Brian's got some really interesting lights today. Look at that. He's got some kind of background,
Oh,
some kind of
yeah.
spotlight. Looking good out here, man. Are you starting your own podcast that we don't know about? What's going on?
Just always looking
got the lights
stylish.
turned down and we got the Bearable Trader,
Yeah, see
the
you
neon
Yeah, there
sign
we
going.
go.
ready to
Red
go.
lights on,
Excellent.
baby.
All right, man. Good. All right, friends. So as we kick it off here, we got three major companies: Microsoft, Meta, and Google reporting after the close today. It should be exciting. And when I think of these three, Mike, I'm thinking of like major AI infrastructures that are kind of like the gauge for where AI is going, right? And as I was putting up some of the data and some of the reports, it's crazy to see, man, how much these companies are investing in the AI growth in CapEx for this year. And also to see how some analysts going back now, right, to last year, it's like, oh, there's no way we'll have such a major year this year like we did in 2024. And man, we are on pace and in some cases blowing things out of the water. So it's this bubble is not a bubble, I don't think, right? So it's pretty firm right now. So um, let's start with we'll start with Microsoft. Let's start with Microsoft. Mike, we'll start there, and then we'll work our way down.
Yes, excellent choice, Carlos, because it's the largest cap of them all. And I would concur with you that the AI bubble and investing and expenditures is going to take a key role in this earnings cycle. Investors are going to want to know about, hey, how are you turning investment into revenue and profits, and what are you getting back for all this money that you're spending in there? And Microsoft, Google, as well as Meta, I think is a great metric that the market's going to be able to kind of determine if this is going to be able to be sustained or if we might actually be in that bubble. Possibly, we'll see. So, with Microsoft, some major news to recap over the last quarter that's kind of come out. They took 135 billion stake in OpenAI. And if you remember, OpenAI also restructured into a nonprofit arm as well as a profit arm. So they split. So there's two separate companies, and I think that was kind of to appease the employees that were there that wanted to work for nonprofit, but at the same time, give a carrot out to Microsoft, who was funding the whole project basically. So they have a large amount in there. One piece of interesting news is that Microsoft, as we were just talking about, how are you making money off this AI investment? They saved 500 million in their call center costs because they've shifted to an AI automation, and which unfortunately, right, results in 4% of their workforce being laid off because you don't need humans anymore to do what a robot can be programmed to do. The stock also hit the $4 trillion mark, which is an awesome accomplishment for any company, even though there are a couple companies that are bigger than it, but it's still a good one to go after. And investors are going to be watching. They really want to know, hey, what's your growth in your cloud segment? They want details on the investment versus the margin impact. And they also are going to want to know, hey, we haven't forgot that the core product of your business is Microsoft products. So how are your reoccurring revenue streams doing? Are they falling off? Are people going to other places? Are you going to Google Docs, right? The other company that's reporting, or are people spending that $100 every year to get the Microsoft suite? So they're interested in that. As we take a look at the chart here, some interesting levels, and this goes back to the earnings last quarter, right? Microsoft's been range bound. The last earnings report popped up heavy, established a high, and then sold off the next morning. And then throughout the quarter, kind of bounced on the low end of that range around 500, dipped below it a couple days. But going into this earnings report, and Jared's going to speak on this, it actually had a big couple gaps and then rally back up to the top of that range. And I think that right there is going to be an interesting point of contention when these earnings come out. Are we able to clear kind of this 555 level and stay above it, or are we just going to go up, clear it, and then reverse off of that? Our trading community, we like to trade it around earnings, but after that, there's really not many traders within the BBT community that trade this intraday. There's a few, but it's not like a PLTR or an SMCI or a NVIDIA over the course of time. So that is the news around Microsoft. I'll turn it over to Jared.
Yeah, absolutely.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Mike. And yeah, the nuances of the technicals, I think Mike covered very well because the elements that you really want to focus on here are the fact that Microsoft has not really made any noteworthy appreciable gains since the previous earnings. So we're in that same trading range since the last earnings high. We also are back testing the $4 trillion mark today. And it's kind of ironic because Apple also achieved 4 trillion as of this morning. So there's two of our larger mega market caps hitting 4 trillion. And if you read the news cycle, 5 trillion for NVIDIA. It's just kind of funny that they're all achieving their market cap objectives at the same time. So outside of the technicals, I'm here to look at the expected move for the stock. And given it's our first earnings for this quarter, figured I'd go really quickly into how I'm getting this number, and we can use that information moving forward. So for a stock like Microsoft, the thing that I want to start the analysis on is going into the option market directly. This is a stock that is very well known to trade fairly heavy options, not quite the same order flow as the intraday stocks that we trade, but as earnings starts to approach, you start to see larger size and more heavy allocations of positions. And over time, and as we approach the expected move, we start to see what the option market is expecting the volatility to be. So it's an aggregation of all of the positions inside of the option market, along with the overall supply and demand of the actual positioning. So you might kind of think of it as almost like a mathematical formula, which it is, to derive what the expected move for the stock is about to be. And when you have an earnings name, we expect this volatility to show up overnight, or in the case of Microsoft, it could also show up Thursday and Friday. So we really just want to look at this as the rest of the week. Microsoft has the ability to move this amount. So when I'm in the option market, I'm looking for specifically a number, and the number I'm always gravitating my eyes towards is this top sort of right-hand side number, which is the platform's calculation of the expected move. Now, that number is telling me that the stock can move up $26.75. It can also move down $26.75. It is theoretically a neutral sort of evaluation, and it's a binary, um, I would say, volatility read. So it kind of doesn't really care about the direction. It's trying to identify the risk. How much risk is in this stock moving into the next couple of days? So what we do is we take that number and we move into our chart, or we just look at the current price of the stock and we add and subtract that number from the current trading price to get our expected move. So, in sort of a simple fashion, I see that Microsoft is trading right around 540. It's at 539 right now. We're hovering right above the $4 trillion mark, somewhere around 538, if I recall correctly. And if you add and subtract the 27-ish dollars, you're going to get an expected move right around 557. It's going to be about a $27.50 move to the upside, especially if we close at 540. And a move to the downside would be $27 lower, assuming we close at 540, about 512.50. And, the irony of the expected move for Microsoft is it's pretty much in alignment with the trading range. If you actually look back to the prior earnings, which kind of sits back in, looks like September 30th, the expected move low was the closing price of the earnings right before we saw that giant gap up. So you're basically looking at, people trying to protect the earnings prices and the trading range support. But then if you're looking higher, you're also looking for a breakout or something right over the trading range. So those are going to be your normal volatility boundaries. And Microsoft's kind of a great example of how this is not only a quantitative range, but sometimes the technicals line up as well. So we'll carry that information forward when we start looking at Meta and Alphabet, but that's all you need to know for Microsoft for now, and those are your numbers.
All right, awesome, Jared. Jared, you're getting some love in the chat, man. You're getting some kisses and stuff like that. The comment is here. Jared is the sexiest mind in BBT. Shout out to Jared with some heart emojis. So, man, look at that. I'm
Very
feeling a
good.
little jealous.
Love it.
Jared, are you
So-
blushing? Are you blushing, man? Looks like you're blushing a little bit there. Oh
Nice.
yeah.
He's
My
blushing.
brain is blushing just a bit,
Yeah,
I love
Appreciate
it.
he's got the
I
bee
love it.
cap on and everything.
Yeah, it's got to
Yeah.
keep that
So
brain nice and warm.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's down in the
Just to
south.
add on
I
a
don't
little-
think it's that cold down there, is it?
It's getting
It's-
cold.
it's
Today's
not-
one of the first days. Yeah.
It's not cold for us winter
just-
people,
just,
Peter,
ju-
but I'm
just
sorry.
add on there.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, just to add on it, we should mention what the expected numbers are that are coming out on Microsoft, and so the
Yep.
expectation is for 365 on EPS and 74.96 billion in terms of revenue. So I'd be looking for those
Yeah.
numbers to when they do come out, see if they get beat or not.
Yeah, will be interesting, man. The cloud giant here. All right, next let's go to Meta, right? Meta is another one that's been showing a lot of growth, even on their ad revenues, right? They're big on that, and they're showing some strength this year, Mike. So let's go to them and see what we have for them.
Yeah, so some of the news this quarter has been a partnership with CrowdStrike to launch some AI cybersecurity there to kind of protect themselves. It's funny, right? They're having a lawsuit against them, but come on, what's new
What's
for
new?
a large company? I think they get a new lawsuit every other day, right? That people want. And especially for a company that sells our data, right? Everybody's going to find a reason to sue them. But
Yeah.
it's still a major news kind of break that went out there because they're trying to get Meta for the data, selling people's data, kind of restricting it. but nothing major there. But on the investors side, you're absolutely correct, Carlos. It's ad revenue. Meta has been able to show that they can turn AI into profits and the amount that they've invested, and the investors like it. Um, that's where they were able to really drive up their share price from May to August when they had their last quarterly earnings because of that revenue. Now, going forward, as you can kind of see from the chart here, we kind of went into a trading range after we made this move up. So the investors, they want to make sure that this thing's for real because everybody's kind of worried about this AI bubble. Because, I mean, let's be honest, it's crazy. Things just keep going up. Say AI and you're going up. Say you're investing in it. I mean, we're talking billions that are just going around in circles through companies and investments. So they want to see some return on that. And they want to also know how the company is balancing growing as well as their spending. They did have the new Meta glasses come out. So that's there. That won't be inside of this earnings report. That will be in a future one, but it is notable to mention that they did come out with that product. I'm not sure, Brian, have you gotten your Ray-Bans yet or not? I don't know. I know you were talking about it.
I was thinking about it. I don't know. I tried a
Yeah,
pair
thinking
on.
about it.
People said I look goony, so
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
yeah. I when I was waiting for my phone, I tried them and I look not cool. I definitely would not
Yeah.
begin the remarks Jared is in the YouTube, so I'm staying away from them. But as we take a look at this chart, Meta's chart, some key levels is 800, big psychological level. Uh, are we going to get past it? And if we do get past it, are we able to hold above it? That is going to be a level to watch. The support is 700. So, I mean, we're looking at a $100 range of where this range is at. 700, it spiked a couple times below, but has been able to always kind of regain that level. And as you can see, we're trading right around 750. So, I mean, we're right on the middle of those two edges. The last earnings was on July 30th. They gapped up and they held it through the earnings, tried to break through that 500 over the next couple weeks, and then slowly have been kind of selling off to the bottom of the range. And then they've been able to build back up into the middle going into this earnings call. Like Microsoft, BBT doesn't really trade this, and that's mainly because as an intraday stock, you're dealing with a high spread. I occasionally will trade Meta, but you're taking on a 50 cent to 80 cent spread depending on how early in the day you want to actually trade this stock. And that can drastically impact your share size as well as your risk. When you go down $1,000 just upon entering a stock can really shock some nerves out of some people. So if you do decide to trade this, even after hours or tomorrow, make sure you keep an eye on the spread because it's not like the other big cap stocks that we're talking about that's got a reasonable spread in it. This one it will get you. So, and that's all I got. I'll turn it over to you, Jared.
All right, perfect. Yeah, the technical view on this one I think is very similar to Microsoft, ironically, and it's kind of why we're seeing the same expected move boundaries along with the technical boundaries. It's pretty much the option market is saying where the technicals are is kind of the risk going into earnings. So it's really ironic that we have two stocks that look very similar on the technical side. But as you mentioned, the lower boundary of Meta is also where the expected move sits, about 700 for the stock trading, what appears to be a little bit higher than when I first calculated. So, this is kind of a moving market as we continue to wrap up the session. But our expected move in total is sitting at 50. So no matter how I calculate things, I'm kind of looking at plus or minus 50 overall. And for a stock like Meta, you may want to give it a little bit of wiggle room. One, because it's a well-known expected move breaching type of stock. And two, if I'm being upfront, I do think $50 is kind of low for a stock like Meta. Not only is this stock built to move, but I think there's enough catalytic information in this earnings to cause a larger than average move for Meta. We'll see if that's true, and I think the technicals right now are kind of blocking any sort of major expansion of price. So we'll just need to see how that reacts to the highs and the lows. But if we do close out around 750, the upper expected move would be 800. If we're trading a little bit higher, maybe give it an extra $5 at the top side and move this lower expected move up slightly. Once again, these are very much like rough boundaries for a stock that's about to kind of have some overnight volatility. But um, yeah, I think everything else just kind of looks like Microsoft because we have the previous earnings sitting essentially where the expected move low is. We have the all-time high sitting right below where the expected move high is. And the only thing that's a little nuanced about Meta is it's one of the few mega market caps that hasn't quite gotten to like that next market cap number, at least on the front unit there. So if they do want to move Meta up, I would even be considering like a $2 trillion mark as a target. Right now, Meta's right about 1.89 trillion. It wouldn't take too much to move it up to the highs. I believe 2 trillion is where it got rejected in earnings. So it would be essentially regaining its market cap status. And Brian, what kind of numbers are we expecting on Meta?
Yeah, thanks for that, Jared. Yeah, the earnings per share that expectation that's out there on the street is 661, and the revenue we're looking at 49.34 billion. So again, some pretty hefty numbers there, and we'll see what they come out with as we get into these releases.
All right, excellent. Thanks, Brian. Looking forward to that. And the last one here is going to be Google Alphabet, which again, another one which is strength is on search engine ad revenue is one of their biggest things. I think it's like 74% of their business, right? So it kind of tells you where these guys are sitting at when it comes to that ad revenue. And I think when you compare these three, this is the one that's really like the one that has to revamp the most, right? Because they're constantly being attacked with a search engines, ChatGPT, and other things coming out with browsers where it's kind of like a hit on its business, right, Mike? So right now, they're year to date, I think they're up 12% when it comes to cloud and growth and stuff like that as far as advertising. What do you have for us? And can these guys continue to be the giant that they are when it comes to the search engine with all this AI stuff coming out? Mike, you're on mute.
Here we go. We'll try that
Gotcha
again.
now. Yep,
I
there we
didn't
go.
see the red thing. All I can say is all-time high. I mean, look at it. We're literally going into earnings and we're going to close in an all-time high just about, right? I mean, we're 4 minutes away and we're just continuing to push. You're absolutely right. With Alphabet or Google here, it's all about AI. It's about the search engine. Sure, ChatGPT is coming out with their own search engine, but I type in Google and I get OpenAI ChatGPT responses now. So really, how much am I really going to want to go to a whole nother search engine, right? I'm just not. I'm going to stick there until it's not worth it anymore, right?
Yeah.
Some major news, I'll hit this very quickly. They increased spending because of the AI and cloud demand by 10 billion up to 85 billion. So again, going in there. Investors, very easy. They want ad revenue, they want to know the numbers, and they want to make sure that they're continuing growth in that sector. Cloud AI growth, they want to know numbers on that. And then they want to know, hey, what is your plan for the future in spending in the AI and cloud area? And with AWS going down in the past week, could be a good thing for them, right? Like they could definitely put some commentary in there just to stick the knife to AWS and may get a positive result out of that. As far as the chart's concerned, again, uptrend, gapped up on its last earnings, continue to grind upward, all-time high. That's, I mean, that's what you need to know. All right. And PBT trading, we do trade this one a lot, especially when it moves. So it's there. Turn it over to you, Jared, since we got a couple minutes.
Yeah, I'll be short and sweet on this one. This is one of the few that is outside of the previous earnings boundaries. So Mike was kind of mentioning all-time highs, but more importantly, the significant growth since its previous earnings, about 40%. So significant gains for those who were kind of buying after the prior earnings announcement. And not really in a trading range at this point. There was one that was kind of below it. The expected move being at about $18. For this particular stock, that's actually not too bad. I still would expect it to be a little higher, but you can always round that up to about 20. We have a $275 stock right now, and that puts the expected move at about 292.5. I did have to adjust it because the stock is moving up throughout the session. Pretty much has been nonstop all day. And to the downside, about 257. So, we're kind of playing with like whether it's going to be exactly 20 or 18. You could easily give this a little bit of wiggle room, but it still kind of puts the boundaries in the rough areas that you want to look for. Whether it be 295 or 255, you can always widen it out a little bit. And that's pretty much it. Just be on the lookout for that one. It's got high momentum and it is a good spread, even overnight. I think it trades a little bit better than Meta for sure, but might even be a little bit better than Microsoft. So, and Brian, right before
All
we
right.
wrap
Yeah,
up the
just
session here.
yeah. Yeah, we're going to wrap things up quickly here. So look for 226 on the earnings per share and 99.96, almost 100 billion on earnings. So let's see what happens. Do we have any timeline on when these are reporting? 405 for right at the close, or
Yeah, everything's 405 right at the close,
okay?
supposedly.
So we got to
Supposedly.
wait for a few minutes unless we get an early release on one of these.
Which could be. You never know what goes on with them.
Well, that was quite the sell-off, Jared. You took advantage of that when we whatever Powell said there.
Yeah, we had some indication of some SPX support at about 68.50. So when the press conference started moving price down, I had a short position already. It just made it that much better, and I knew my target ahead of time.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
but the bounce was good too because support held, and that's kind of the main thing. You have to
Yeah,
kind of pick a side and know where to act and react. Yeah, I think that was kind of a neater trade because Spot Gamma gave us clues as to where those levels might be, even though the price hasn't visited them recently. So
right.
really nice price action there.
Yeah,
All right, I got
6,900 was a call wall.
Hmm.
We did get above that, but ended up closing below it.
I,
Got everything laid out here. We'll just wait for a couple minutes and see
yeah.
how they shake out the price.
And for anybody, if you pull up the Benzinga on Trading Terminal news, they'll report that out via out loud to you. So I will have them up and running. Google kind of made me mad though. They took away my ability to put sound into one ear and the other. Google just popped up to 281.
Yep, seeing a reaction
Reporting.
there now.
287 estimate.
Yeah, Google's must have reported already.
102.3 billion on Google. So a beat.
Yeah,
That's GOOG.
that's a pretty
Microsoft coming
decent
up.
beat.
$3.72 on Microsoft.
That's a beat, small beat.
77.7 billion on revenue.
Okay.
So far, Google's looking like the best
Yeah.
movement here.
Best mover so far. Microsoft's selling a bit and didn't like those numbers, apparently.
Wow, Google's nice.
Microsoft.
And Meta's also at 405 as well. No.
Yeah, Meta is at
Yeah,
405. So like we
Meta
talked
hasn't
about,
done
right,
anything.
Jared? Microsoft and Google both coming out early.
Yep.
Here we
You
go.
never
Google
never
though.
trust the time.
And Microsoft's dropping more.
Microsoft is getting close to its expected move. Google is also getting close to its upper expected move. So
Yeah.
we're
Exactly.
stretching the
Microsoft.
boundaries here.
Yeah, Microsoft going one way, Google going the other. And Meta going nowhere so far.
So if you're
Look
using
at this.
if you're using the $18 expected move, Google's basically hitting
Here we
it.
go.
I've stretched
Yep.
mine out to 20, and
Google
it's pretty
just
much a
hitting
perfect.
295.
There it is, a perfect hit right there on Google. I would say Microsoft is pretty close. I like to see my candle touch my line, but it's close enough. So,
Oh yeah, look at that. 512.50.
mhm.
Microsoft. Look at that.
There it
Google
is.
coming
Google
right back
reacting
off
now.
that 295.
Yeah, Meta's getting some movements here.
Oh,
Meta.
faster.
$1.05 on Meta.
Yeah, they did 50 billion, which was a slight beat. Earnings per share.
51.2 billion on revenue. Missed earnings per share.
Yeah.
Big
Missed.
miss on earnings per share.
Ouch, that's not gonna be
Okay.
good. Oof.
Meta's nose diving. Zuckerberg's
what's
gonna
the
have to
Jai, what's the expected move on this
Zuckerberg's
one?
gonna have to let a few people go on his boat.
Yeah, so Meta's expected move was plus or minus 50, and I'm marking it from 750. So at this point, probably look for 700.
Ouch.
Afterwards, though, given it's a slight miss, I might not look for a bounce. Um, so Microsoft maybe comes off a little bit. Meta might just cut right through it. This is just not a good time to look for the bounce just yet, but it's hitting its expected move too. So all
Yep.
three stocks are pretty much where we expected them to be, at least in the initial reaction. Very
And look at that.
It's very powerful to have the options expected moves because it helps you stay in a trade and it also helps you look for maybe some reaction bounces. Otherwise, you're kind of flying a little blind on the volatility, how big they can move.
See what we do at. Let's see what we do on
Oh, here
this
we go.
700.
700 on Meta. Here we go, printing there now.
Yeah, let's see if it holds this.
The aftermarket SPY and Qs are dropping a bit. Qs did manage, or SPY managed to finish in the green despite the crazy price action today. And obviously the
Yeah.
Qs
Look at
well in the
that
green
spread
again.
on Meta. It's going from 10 cents to $2.77. Meta is
Yeah,
not having a
we're
good
printing
day.
690 now. Meta is just, well, there's going to be a bottom here somewhere.
So I did mention this. Meta is notorious for breaching expected moves. It's the one stock in this list that I would not trust the expected move on a dime, just because it's notorious for being a little off. Now, can it recover? Of course. I think you just have to be kind of risk adverse on it, because if we can't recover 700, then we might be looking at a breakdown,
Yeah.
a real one. So.
My God, the humanity.
Yeah, we lose. Yeah. I mean, that's losing the range even from prior to last earnings down here.
Yeah, I do see it snapping back, but 700 is going to be kind of like your get back in the box level, you know? And if it can't, it
Yeah,
Get me
can't.
in the
try to get
box.
back into the expected move range.
Yeah. The
Mm.
dog's leash got
Just
caught
to
on
be
the
aware that
fence.
just be aware that none of these companies have had their calls yet, so a lot can change once they start pontificating about forward-looking guidance, etc. Capital spending.
Ooh.
It'll be interesting to hear about what their capital spending is going to be on AI. If it's going to increase, decrease, no change. As I've been saying in my swing trade letters, you should be aware that if we start hearing people cutting back on their AI spending, that's going to be something that markets really could move some of these stocks down. So I
Yeah.
don't think we're going to hear anything like that, but
And we got a question on YouTube about the real-time simulator. I will ask tomorrow whether the intention is to have the simulator be able to trade after hours or not. I'm pretty sure in the future we will be able to. I'm just not sure if the coding is up and ready to be able to separate the two to have different risk controls applied to them. So I'll ask if it's just a setting error that we can fix real quick or if it's something that we're going to have to plan for you. So, and if you want an answer, email me at mike@pcapitaltrading.com or mike@bearbulltraders.com and I'll respond to you with the answer after tomorrow. Because I just went in there and tried to trade in there too, and it wouldn't let me.
Yeah, I did the
So,
same thing too. Got the error. We used to be able to do it,
yeah.
so maybe it's just got to be tweaked because we do want you guys to practice earnings plays right in the simulator and not in your live
Yeah.
account. So, absolutely, Mike will check on that and get back to you
So
guys.
I will definitely do that. Yeah, there we go. We're back above 700.
Brian, you're getting some good love on the weekend videos you do on YouTube every week. Brian goes on, I think it's Sunday or Saturday, he'll do a weekend look ahead video on YouTube. Very insightful, so definitely sign up for those. And they're on his YouTube channel, which I'll get you the link, guys, in a second here for that. Plus the newsletter. Sign up to the newsletter. It's very, very helpful, straightforward, very clean, and you're not gonna get spammed with all kinds of stuff. So
No, I enjoy Brian's newsletter on the
yep.
weekend. It's a great way to start out Monday, reading that Sunday evening.
Yeah, I'm looking at our three names here. We're obviously getting some snapbacks on all three of them. Um, I'm looking at Microsoft too. It looks like there's pretty significant price rebounds off of the lows here. Meta too has an
Yeah,
attempt going, but I'm a little nervous on that one. Looks like it could fail. And then Alphabet was spot on. I mean,
right to
it doesn't
295.
it really doesn't get much cleaner than that sometimes. And we're very lucky to see that they're all respecting the numbers that were derived, I guess. So not often does this all hit at the same time. We've had a couple cases where the stocks move way more significantly, and then some cases where they barely move at all. So you're kind of seeing like perfect hits on
Yeah,
everything.
this was a good one today.
Hmm. Just gotta keep hoping for this, and we can exploit the system a little bit more in the
See
after
what we
hours.
get tomorrow. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. Exactly. But
So,
hopefully this has been helpful for those who are just kind of seeing how earnings works and using a little bit of quantitative analysis to get some edge on the stocks that you're about to trade. Because it's helpful to know where the stock might go, and it's helpful to know where the stock might have trouble getting through. I think both of those are kind of large pieces of the puzzle if you're going to take advantage of that reaction candle. So.
Another one that reports is Starbucks. I'm not sure if they reported yet, but I have them on schedule too. They don't usually trade that well earnings, but man, the next day, I love this ticker. It does
oh,
trade very well after earnings. I have so good. I don't know if it's luck or success, whatever, but Starbucks, man, I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. Definitely will be on the list. So we'll see how that goes.
If this quarter reports the pumpkin spice latte sales, then I think
Oh.
it'll be a beat.
Is that your
pumpkin
thing,
spice
Jared? The
lattes.
Latin the latte pumpkin spice. My wife loves that thing. She loves it.
Yeah, it's hard to deny that the season
Wow.
for that really sparks a lot of new business in the coffee
Oh,
makers.
I,
I'm sure. We go the extra
yeah,
mile just to go pick it up, so I'm sure it helps the numbers, right? So,
my my wife showed me what actually goes in there, and I had
wait,
to
don't
stop
don't
drinking
don't don't
pumpkin
don't don't
spice.
just stop
Yeah,
right there,
Yeah.
it's
Mike. We don't want to know. We don't want to know.
She wanted to save money. She wanted to save money, so that's why she did it to me.
I mean, if
Yeah.
your desire is to have that flavor, let me tell you, you can
Oh
probably
yeah.
buy the syrup somewhere else.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yep, yep,
Trying to be health conscious nowadays.
yep.
So I
Friends over
gotta
on
like,
YouTube, if you haven't had the opportunity, hit that thumbs up. Really appreciate it. Does help the stream as we go live for these sessions. So thank you so much. We appreciate it.
yeah. Anybody gonna be in Indianapolis next weekend?
No, what's happening
Or
there?
not this coming weekend, the November 8th. Anybody gonna be there out on YouTube anywhere? My son's running a marathon, so he conned me into running a half a marathon.
Nice.
So yeah, so go out and run that. Spend the weekend in Indianapolis. Hopefully, I have a better experience this time than the last time I went there. It felt like a ghost town the last time I was there. Here we got Google that's might thinking about pushing back up, but
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like a
I'll normally say that if the stock goes to the expected moves, usually the next big move is going to be the conference call.
yeah,
So I use the expected move as like I want to get those targets achieved, especially if I'm going to, take a position. If I'm playing a bounce from them, I know I'm probably only going to get like half of the distance. It's not going to like always fully reverse. And everything else really just relies on more volume because I think after that, the market maker doesn't really move price until we get more information. So I usually find this kind of like a pause period after we get the initial reaction. Let's see. We've also got a question in the main chat about ServiceNow, another stock that tends to be a really big mover. Um, Taking a look here at ServiceNow, it looks as if it's about an $80 expected move,
Whoa,
and
that's pretty big.
the stock moved up about 60, well, about 70 from the close. So in a stock of this magnitude, I would say that's pretty much a hit. In fact, it might even be a perfect move because I'm trying to see where the close is. 911. Yeah, I would have put it right around 990. So now is theoretically like Microsoft, it's hitting the area of the expected move. It didn't really hit it perfectly, but very spready stock though, very hard to trade that particular name.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
yeah. I haven't ever traded it. It's too. Yeah, with that size of price makes it
Mhm.
can make to be a big spread.
Yeah.
So the Qs are kind of bouncing back. Same with the SPY.
Yeah,
Google's moving back up here, eh?
yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. Like, appreciate knowing you're enjoying the YouTube video on the weekend.
Oh yeah, we mentioned that when you stepped away, people are enjoying that. Send a link to your channel
Yeah,
there on YouTube and sign up for the newsletter as well. Go to bearwithtrust.com. I think if you go to webinar, scroll all the way to the bottom, you see the link to the
I think it's under
this,
education. It's at the
under
very
education.
bottom under
Okay.
education. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's free, and we won't spam you.
You're not gonna sell. You don't sell those emails like Google does. You don't do that, or like Meta. You keep those
No.
private.
Yeah.
Good, good, good. Suman, yeah, that is risky, man. So comment here is that he got into Meta before the earnings call, and it's obviously not the reaction he wanted. You never know. It's a big gamble, and the moves, as you heard from Jared, could be so big. If you get caught on the wrong
Yeah.
side of things, it can really hurt. And we can come back later, and this thing can be up 755. The call goes completely the opposite way, right? If they say all the right things and
Yeah.
people love what they hear, this thing could be up by the time we come in tomorrow morning, right? So it's just so risky. You never know what you're going to get. You might not survive the initial move. It's sometimes better. And I've been caught in it like, oh, this stock is doing great. They have to have a good earnings report. And they'll be slightly here and there and still something, the reaction of, whatever, the market didn't
Yeah.
like it. And it could be not something you expect. So at times it's better just to play the reaction. If you want to play earnings, play the reaction after. Yes, you're not going to get the best entry. You're not going to be in a position where you're going to get the entire move, but you might have better success as far as win rate, right? So just be mindful of that.
Yeah. Couple of comments on playing earnings. I mean, I just don't do it. Just generally speaking, just because it's I just view it as more gambling than anything. I mean, you're just sort of placing a bet on um, a binary outcome. Is the market gonna react well to the earnings, or is it gonna dump on the stock? And you just don't know.
Yeah.
So I just find it's just better to sit back and wait for those numbers and reaction to happen. So talk about
Yeah.
that in my swing trade book, and it's kind of my philosophy for trading options or trading earnings. I guess having said that, I mean the if you are going to trade earnings, probably the best way to do it is with options because you can define your risk a little bit better. So call it different structures of options you can use and we going into it, exactly what you're risking, how much you're going to make, and more importantly, how much potentially you could lose on the trade. So yeah, that if I was going to play option or play earnings, my preference would be for options,
Mm.
Yeah,
call spreads, put spreads, that kind
Yep,
of stuff.
yeah.
for
And
sure.
I think like always, you don't want to go into earnings without one, an understanding of speed and the management of the trade itself. But two, you actually want to have a trade book for all this. So the fact that it is such a binary move, some of the trade books that kind of work for earnings are all revolving around session breakdowns and session breakouts. You look at each of the session ranges that each of these stocks made today, some positions don't even activate until there's a break. And for me, either I'm looking for some sort of expected move reaction, kind of like what Carlos is saying. It's a slower move. I'm not going to get a big piece, but I can manage the risk a lot easier. And it tends to be a little bit slower once it gets there. But if I'm going for these targets, the only reason I really put this expected move up is to showcase how much distance this stock is about to move. And this is for people who have existing positions. This is for people about to take a trade. It's very important to see that this is the market's volatility. So you have to be able to handle that volatility and potentially move price to it. Obviously there's going to be some deviations here and there, but if you can't handle the expected move, you probably won't be able to handle the risk of the trade. It's just how the expected move works. So you have to be very careful on that because yeah, it is binary. I mean, you'll either be right or wrong, and a lot of traders only work directionally. So, option market really doesn't care about the direction, it cares about risk. So,
Exactly.
Here's Meta down to the bottom
Yeah,
again.
Meta's right back at
yeah,
low of day.
yeah. They looked at
Yeah,
700 and they
There we go.
said, not today.
Yeah.
We can go
Said
lower.
nope.
okay.
Oh man, this is gonna be
We
fun
are gonna
tomorrow.
go
It
lower.
really is. All three of these:
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft, Google, Meta,
Yeah.
and I'll throw in Starbucks in there as well. Uh, Mike, I see you have your Starbucks cup. Is that your cup you have from Starbucks?
Oh
Which one you're
yes.
rocking today? So for those that don't know, Mike collects Starbucks cups wherever he goes. And oh, I like that. I like that.
I know you'll
República
like this one,
Dominicana.
Carlos.
Very nice. Very nice. Love it. Love it.
I'll have
Good
to I'll
stuff,
have to
man.
get you one from Thailand, Mike.
Yes,
Ah,
I will take
yeah.
one, Brian, if you get me one, because I have been to Thailand before, so it's legitimate.
Oh yeah, I
Okay.
was gonna ask you,
It's
is the
legit.
rule that you actually have to have gone there? So if you have gone, I
Yeah,
think
I
okay,
have to
all
be
right,
there.
there you go.
Yeah,
Since
I
you
was
have to
there
take
in
it.
97 and again in 99.
Nice,
So,
nice, nice.
Thailand is a fun place and a very
Oh,
hot, miserable place when you're in the jungle, just so you know.
well, hopefully
Dwayne
we'll
is
be spending more
asking,
time at the beach than
yeah,
the jungle.
Yeah, that's where I would stay for sure. The jungle is not a fun place to be at.
oh no. Dwayne in chat is asking, did I get this hat when I took the delivery of the plane? Yes, I did. But after I saw the maintenance bill per month, I returned them. Like, it's not for me. It's too much. It's too high. It's too high. uh, I tell you, it's crazy how expensive these things are. Internet for
Look
one
at
of these
that.
private aircrafts is like 20,000 a month. So just put that into perspective.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You should just rent your private jet.
Yeah.
No point in
Yeah.
buying it.
Mm-mm.
Just rent it. So,
All right, so we're getting ready to wrap up here. Any closing thoughts,
alrighty.
Jared? And we'll start with Jared and then Brian, any closing thoughts for tomorrow's setups? What are you guys thinking?
Hmm.
Well,
So
we'll see. We go ahead, Jared.
I'm thinking the fact that all the expected moves have been met, we'll probably look for trade around the expected move, almost like a trading range to build higher and lower with the expected move being the center. I think Meta, just with the miss on some of the numbers there, I probably would kind of stay away from trying to balance that one out. But Microsoft doesn't look too bad. Google's obviously looking great for bulls,
Yeah.
but it's mostly can we get any further than these expecteds? And a lot of times the way the expected move works, it's just risk is kind of unwinding at that point. So there's not as much volatility when you trade around it. So I'll look for like ranges, probably use some of the pullback buyers to kind of define supports and see if we can get to 300 maybe on Alphabet. Um, Microsoft, I'll have to see how it opens. And then Meta. I hope it doesn't break down, but we got to have one bearish name in this market, so it might as well be Meta.
Yeah,
How
Brian?
about you,
yeah. I
Brian?
think it's not really much else to add to that. It's yeah, with the options, obviously you do get the volatility, bit of volatility crush. You get elevated option or elevated volatility prior to the earnings, and then you get that reduction. So, and I think with some of these numbers that come out, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see the reaction of the various. Some doing well, some not. So we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Sweet, man. And how about for you, Mike? What is your favorite out of these three for tomorrow going into the market open?
As a high day trader, I love Google. I'm gonna be watching Google around 295. So, but I will also be watching Meta, ironically, around the 700 mark as well, especially if it continues to sell off, because that level could be a breakout level near a high of day on this gap down, which will be there. Microsoft, I've been watching Microsoft the last couple of weeks, and I just do not like the intraday wicks that this thing puts out. So I'll probably avoid that at all costs.
Yeah, yeah. For me, Microsoft has been good lately. This week and last only, right? So a couple of weeks doesn't trail that well, but the last couple of days has been all right. So looking forward to that one as it's coming back here, and of course Starbucks tomorrow. So, all right,
Yeah,
friends, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you guys coming on today and being here. Tomorrow should be an amazing morning. Looking forward to that, and we'll see you guys there.
yeah.
Take care,
Don't
everybody.
forget we're on again. We're gone again tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. We've got
Yes.
Amazon and Apple after the close.
Yeah.
So
Should be a
we'll
whole
see
lot
you
of
all
fun.
tomorrow
Nice.
for that as well.
All right. Take
All
care,
right.
friends. Have a great evening. We'll see you.
Bye for now.
Cheers.
Take care, everybody.